maybe I can't play Wiang, but I guess I can entertain you for a few minutes here. So let's see why we're still looking for our Wiang, who possibly looking for coffee at the moment. Let me ask you some questions. So can you introduce yourself just a little bit? Don't tell about the title of the piece yet. That is something that we can talk about later.
I'm Nikki. I'm Joenic, France, Juanite, but please call me Nikki. I'm from the Philippines, but currently I'm representing Seoul National University. I'm Filipino. Yeah.
And I know that this is the first time that you're joining us in AYE, that's correct? And I know that you've been working very hard already since Saturday until today, and actually conducting your piece, right? Okay, and is it the first time that you're conducting the piece, or?
I did conduct it before on high school choral, but this is the first time that I'm conducting my own piece. So
how's the feeling?
it's quite, I get lost with listening my own music while I have to guide still the musicians.
Yeah. And from these few days, what is the most valuable lessons that you have from working with these musicians? Very remarkable mix of instruments. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about why you choose these sets of instruments, maybe?
Can I just talk about okay. Why did I choose the set of instruments? So first, it's quite an opportunity to be able to be given the chance to meet the traditional instruments from ASEAN, especially I'm from Philippines, and I'm also a Kulintang player. And it's quite, I was excited to try write something for this instrument without really knowing too much like what's tuk song, their proper notation, etc.
And what is the lesson that you learned most from working with this instrument? What kind of changes that you made in the scores, and why, possibly?
I didn't really made that much changes, but it's more of because I did incorporated a very personal Kulintang rhythm in this piece, and on my mind, I thought it was easy. And when I had a moment with them, I didn't expect it that it was a bit challenging. So it was more of like guiding the non-percussive instruments in a percussive way.
Okay. So is there any instrument, maybe we can hear just a little bit, each instrument, just before we get to know the mixtures of it. Anyhow, we have already our player here, so maybe no longer, please give him a big hand. please stay with us first. Big hands to them again for conducting and composing and also giving us the interview now. Thank you so much. And the title of the piece is?
Confusion, risk.
Okay. And can you tell us a little bit about your ideas about this piece?
Of course, the first idea was to incorporate my very Kulintang rhythm in this piece. At the same time, I want to make it sound a little bit happier. Yeah, and what else? I shouldn't forget any. Yeah, the title Risk came from the lyrics. The original lyrics was supposed to talk about risk, but I was asked to change it because it didn't sound poetic. So yeah, that's one of the changes I did for the piece.
The wording, actually, I mean, at first, the lyrics is in Thai.
Yes.
Yeah, and actually, what are they saying in English?
It's corny, but let there be a risk. We are brave. We are ready, ASEAN.
So thank you for taking a risk with us. And maybe can I hear a little bit about comment from our honorary guest here, Peter Will, a conductor who has been conducting for the last 2 nights, and Professor Ditomark, a mentor of this project. So just a little bit about the project, about the piece and some other things. Thank you.
I was wanting to ask you about these texts, because in the first rehearsal that we had, you also had the idea of everybody saying the text in their own language, and maybe you can tell us what role in the piece you felt that the text had, because the whole beginning of the piece begins also with text.
I might answer it in a general way. So I incorporated singing and was hoping for them to sing on their own language, because as one of the functions in traditional instruments of ASEAN is for the community, for the society. Like we have, like I want to capture that community singing thing, and I changed it in an organized way because we tried it, but it's quite noisy.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much for that piece. We also had discussed that language problem.
Yes.
And also music, if sounds are easier to connect, to bring together. It's sometimes difficult with the spoken language. And that's, I think, it's all over the world, it's the same problem. Sometimes in opera in Europe, we have the same thing. And so I think you have found finally a very good solution. Thank you very much about that. And it was also a very nice performance, which you did with the group. Maybe at that moment I can also say something about why we did this morning concert with some pieces and included some other pieces in the evening concerts. That doesn't mean that that is less important what we do this today, but we are more here it's a workshop concert, which means, as you have said, you have also changed in the score, and that is also the idea of the whole concept that we realize here, that to get known the other instruments and how the characteristics are is something which we have to learn. And sometimes we are still in a state of experimenting. And I remember actually we wanted to do in March a pre-workshop with instruments and composers, which unfortunately didn't take place. So the pieces which you heard in the evening concerts were mostly from composers who had already participated some years already before here, and they knew the problems. So that's why we did these 2 different things. There's nothing to do with quality, and I think it's as important as the others. That's just as an information about the concept.
Very much. So let's hope that you really have a chance to learn and play with your friends here, and that this collaboration can continue in the future.
I learned a lot.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, so thank you, Joenic, and big hands to her again. I'm looking forward to hear your next piece. So now let's come to the second piece, Welcome Down by Doi Ma.